So, Gym ist done, meine lieben Freunde. Und jetzt, das Thema heißt ja ein Tag als digitaler Nomade. Und dementsprechend möchte ich auch ein paar digitale Nomaden interviewen. Apollo is a good friend of mine. I actually met him in Cancun the first time. And then we met in Tulum again. We didn't spend Christmas together though, because your family went there. Yeah, but now we're here again in San Cristobal and getting some work done together. And yeah, so your word, man, like what do you do for a living and how do you make the digital nomad lifestyle work?
All right, Marius, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
So I am a digital project manager, I would say. I operate a digital agency, so we help businesses grow. And we do that through building websites, online shops. We do marketing, lead generation, the full spectrum.
Nice. And like, what's your part of the job, or do you do everything by yourself?
No, so I'm the digital project manager. So I recruit designers, developers, illustrators, animators, and I let them work together.
Nice. So you're like you do the organization part of everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And we also do like sales, so we do the sales. Mostly my job mainly now is sales because we're actually scaling our team. So I'm taking a step back from the project management side, but I'm still super managing projects.
Yeah, that's super awesome. And for how long have you been doing that?
For 6 years now, but
6 years, wow.
Yeah, I did first freelancing, and now since 2 to 3 years I have a business that I operate together with one business partner, but one other business partner is coming soon with us.
Nice. And like, how do you like the digital nomad lifestyle, like being on the road the whole time and traveling and working?
Yeah, of course, it's when I started with goal setting 6 years ago, it was the first thing that I put on my goal list to travel the world and work together and be surrounded with digital nomads like you.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, finally, after 6 years, although I could do it much earlier, actually, I made it a step, and I'm super happy about it. So
nice. So yeah, thank you very much for being here and sharing your story.
Of course.
And let's continue with the next one.
Yeah, it is.
All right, guys, I'm having the next interview guests. First of all, what are your names?
Ana Lu. Frida.
Cool, awesome. And today I'm going to interview some digital nomads and ask them what they do for a living. So, what do you do for a living?
So I'm a pharmacist. I work at P&G, and this is actually my first trip as digital nomad. My first destination, yeah.
Nice. So, for how long have you been doing it? And
I just started. It's like for 2 weeks. I'll turn to 2 weeks.
Nice. And do you like it in the first 2 weeks? Because I'm kind of new to it too.
Yeah, so far I love it. It's really nice to get to know new people. Like everyone is doing different stuff, so you get different perspectives about it. Yeah.
Awesome. And like to have a better understanding about what you do exactly. Like you said, you work in pharmacist, but like what exactly do you do?
Yeah, so I'm in corporate. It's not like prescribing and stuff, just like regulatory affairs. So I review medicines before they get submitted to the Board of Health in Central America and Caribbean.
Yeah, nice. So you're like employed by a company and you have fixed working hours, which works fine because you're from Guatemala, right? Exactly. So it's at the same time zone. All right, awesome. So what do you do for a living?
I'm a virtual assistant / paralegal. So I've been working there for 1 year and a half.
Nice.
And then I've been doing the digital nomad with Roland, that's my boyfriend, for 1 year. So then we used to stay in Airbnbs because it's easy and you have a lot of privacy. This is our first time doing a co-living. But then, that's what,
Yeah. Awesome. Like 1 year is a really long time. And you say you like it so far and you want to, like for how long do you want to continue doing it?
Yeah, well, it's really, my work is very flexible. And then it's, as long as I have a good internet connection, I can go everywhere. So then I want to keep doing it because it's like a good balance between like being, during the pandemic, it's like too hard to be at home and then just like in one place. So then I think we want to keep doing it for like as much time as we can.
Like for life, maybe?
I don't think for life. Well, we work in cruise lines. Before I was like a virtual assistant, we used to work in a cruise. So then we are always like doing the nomad thing without the digital thing. So then that's like in our personality per se.
Yeah.
But then like as soon as the cruise ships are back, like fully open, I think we would like to go back there
Okay,
as
nice.
well. Yeah.
And like you say you're a virtual assistant.
Virtual, yeah,
And
virtual
what part of the job do you exactly do for?
Oh.
Like you're working for other clients, right? And you do stuff for them, right?
Yeah, what happened is like I found this job online, and then I'm a virtual assistant for a law firm in Atlanta, in Georgia. So I never met my
Okay.
my bosses.
Yeah.
We only do Zoom stuff, and then like that's the only thing. That's the only contact that we have had. But then what I do is like I speak Spanish. I'm from Mexico.
Yeah.
So then there is a big community of Latin people there. So what I do is like I call them because my boss, he's from Cuba, but he doesn't speak really good Spanish,
Yeah.
so he needs like a bridge.
Ah,
so I'm
okay.
the
So
bridge
you're-
between the
okay.
like there is an intake team, but then I'm the criminal part. I didn't know anything about paralegal. I had
Okay.
a great boss that she was from Puerto Rico. She told me everything, how I have to direct to the courts. She give me templates. So what I do is like I call the clients, I ask them for payments, and then I call the court as well. And then I have really flexible hours because I work for task. Like they told me, oh, you have to do these things by the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's up to me if I smash them like in 1 hour, or if I can like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
here and doing that. And then as long as like I'm on call all the time. Like if someone
Yeah.
needs someone, but that never happens. Like yeah.
Nice. Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting.
All right. Thank you both very much for being here and sharing your story. And that's it, basically. All right. We are having the next guest right here. You said your name is Andrea, right?
Yes.
Nice. And you said you are being a digital nomad. And for how long have you been doing this?
About 7 years now. So it's been
7 years?
a really long time. Even before
Wow.
COVID, I've been lucky to have a very flexible
Yeah.
work schedule.
Wow, you're actually the most experienced digital nomad I have here in my interviews. So that's really interesting. So like you've been doing this for 7 years, which is amazing. And like, what's your review? How do you like it? And like, what do you say is the advantage, and maybe also one disadvantage about being a digital nomad lifestyle?
God, I love it. I could never, ever go back into
Yeah.
an office, I think. I think with just the flexibility,
Yeah.
making your own schedule, being able to travel around and meet new people, I think it's great. And I work in sort of a creative industry, so I think being around, not being tied to a desk, being able to move around, meeting different people, being in different places really has an advantage when you're also trying to find inspiration to make creative ideas. I will say sometimes it does get hard, especially initially, because like you have to be really good at managing your time, I think. And I'm pretty sure that's something a lot of digital nomads can talk to, especially when you're starting out. I will say sometimes I miss my foods.
Okay.
I'm a pretty healthy eater, so sometimes it's not always the easiest.
Yeah,
Again,
especially in Mexico, right? It's super like oily and so much fat, right? Isn't it?
yes. So again, that's probably a first world problem, and of course you can go to the market and cook
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes I miss my NutriBullet and my
Yeah.
Instant Pot at home.
Yeah. Okay. I can see it, and I can feel it too. Yeah, great. So, and what do you do exactly for work, and like, how do you make the digital nomad lifestyle happen? How do you make money?
Sure. So I work in social media marketing. So before I became a digital nomad, I was working in New York, which is where I was also raised. So I was working at an advertising agency, working on different clients, mostly focused in the tech and entertainment space, doing a lot of like social media, but also like in-person events. And then I think I was working like 100 hours a week. And so it was great. I was in my early 20s and I had the best time ever. And I learned so much and made great contacts. But I think after a while, I was just like, oh, I have to, this is not the end goal for me. And so what do I want to do? So I actually initially quit my job and then just traveled for a while. And then when I was ready to go back to work, I ended up working at an agency, another advertising agency in Australia, but I just realized I hated working in an office. So I left and started doing all different types of jobs like bartending and just whatever to make any money. And then I was lucky enough to just have an old client reach out to me and be like, hey, do you want to work in do you want to do some social media for some of my clients? I know you have experience, so I was really lucky. It actually was cannabis clients, so that was a really fun job. And then from there, I was just like, oh, this is so cool. And there's always work to be done, especially in the social media space. And I think even more relevant to now, like, especially during COVID, there's different, like, people understand you have to have that one-on-one interaction with consumers and being able to kind of market to them in a different way, not your traditional ads. So I've been really lucky in that manner.
It's super inspiring, actually. And was it a huge decision for you to quit your job, or was it like a no-brainer because you didn't like it?
I think initially it was super scary, and I think especially like, when you're raised your whole life to think your work defines who you are, especially I think in a city like New York, where everyone is always, the first question that comes out of someone's mouth is like, what do you do for a living? And then
just say like
exactly, or somebody was like, what do you do? And I remember when I had no job and I was like, oh, I'm just trying to be happy, and they were like, this girl is crazy. So initially it was like really scary, but I think I think we live, especially now post-COVID, I think younger people are realizing you don't need to be tied into an office to make a living. And I think things and structures, the old structures are going to change, because it doesn't make sense like to be stuck at a desk your whole life. And also companies aren't going to babysit you. It's not like our parents' generation
it is.
where you're going to be working one job your whole life. So like, there's such a massive amount of people who are leaving their jobs because it's not fulfilling or it's like an old structure, and we know our value. So I don't think people should be afraid. It can seem really risky, but once you do it, you're like, why was I ever worried about it?
I think everybody should listen to their inner voice and like do what they really want to do. Exactly. Follow their highest excitement.
And if you're a hustler, you'll make it work. You'll find.
Exactly. If you have like a small like some kind of discipline, and you will make it work like some way.
And you live, I live within my means. Like I'm lucky enough to work for an American company and get paid in US dollars, so that's super helpful. But even then, like I'm not living it large. I know what my value sets are. I don't need a designer bag. I don't need a fancy car. I want to just be free and meet people and occasionally eat in a nice restaurant, but have some street tacos. So all of that makes me happy.
Nice. That sounds super great. And so you said you never want to go back, and you love the digital nomad lifestyle. And would you say you can do it for life, or?
I'm working on it. We'll see. I think, I love the digital nomad lifestyle. It's been 7 years since I've worked in an office. So I've been done well. And even now, so I think like, a lot more people or a lot more businesses and bosses are understanding like a younger generation don't want to be in an office. So I hope that in the future it remains the same. People are flexible. It's if you can get your work done, it doesn't matter where you do it, what time you do it, as long as it's good and it's done. So hoping to make it work. I'd like to maybe venture out into something later, but I love having the flexibility, so I'm not ready to give up this lifestyle quite yet.
Awesome. If that's not a great statement, I don't know what is. And thank you very much for sharing your story. It was super interesting to have someone who's doing it for 7 years. That's super amazing. And now we get some dance moves in.
Okay.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Actually, I didn't expect you to be like working for 7 years.
I know.
So, nächster Interviewgast. Das dieses Mal tatsächlich auf Deutsch. Wir sind, glaube ich, sind wir die einzigen deutschen Gäste in dem Coworking?
So ziemlich, ja.
So ziemlich. Wie heißt du?
Ich heiße Daniel.
Daniel. Und du bist digitaler Nomade, richtig?
Ich bin seit 2021 im Januar unterwegs, habe da meine Wohnung aufgelöst und soweit alles verkauft.
Geil.
Und das war so der Zeitpunkt, wo ich wirklich Nomade bin. Davor habe ich schon länger remote gearbeitet auch.
Ja, krass. Also du hast wirklich in Deutschland alles weg, Sachen verkauft, Möbel weg.
Genau.
Also den digitalen Nomaden-Lifestyle, wenn man ihn so nennen kann, lebst du jetzt quasi so seit knapp einem Jahr.
Genau, ja.
Geil.
Komplett.
Und was würdest du jetzt nach einem Jahr sagen, ist dein Fazit? Gefällt es dir gut? Oder?
Es ist die beste Entscheidung, die ich treffen konnte. Das Gefühl von Freiheit, genau das, was ich eigentlich immer wollte. Davor hat man sich immer natürlich viel Gedanken gemacht über Familie, hatte noch eine Beziehung oder sonstige Dinge. Und das hat sich jetzt alles so ergeben, dass ich genau da bin, wo ich sein will.
Mega. Hört sich sehr, sehr, sehr geil an und sehr inspirierend. Ich bin ja noch am Start meiner Reise quasi und ich finde es immer sehr cool, mit Leuten zu sprechen, die halt schon mehr Erfahrung in dem Bereich haben. Und wenn ich fragen darf, was machst du, um das Ganze möglich zu machen? Wie verdienst du dein Geld?
Also ich habe mir natürlich, bevor ich los bin, einiges an Ersparnisse besorgt durch Arbeit in meinem Job davor, durch Verzicht. Ich hab schon immer einen relativ minimalistischen Lebensstil. Habe, seit ich Student bin, eigentlich meine Ausgaben nicht signifikant erhöht. Ja. Wenn dann natürlich für größere Reisen oder Abenteuer.
Ja. Aber auch beeindruckend, dass du den Lebens- oder zumindest die Ausgaben quasi konstant halten konntest, ne?
Ja, ich denke immer, man muss nicht nur, weil man mehr Geld verdient, mehr Geld ausgeben. Deswegen habe ich ein gutes Polster. Ja. Und das war natürlich ein guter Start, dass man sagen kann, okay, mit ein bisschen mehr Vertrauen dann auch zu sagen, ich muss nicht jetzt unbedingt morgen Geld verdienen. Ja. Von daher konnte ich dann relativ gut starten und mache digitale Projekte. Also ich bin IT-Projektleiter, arbeite für verschiedene Projekte und habe auch verschiedene Side-Businesses, mit denen ich mein Geld skaliert verdiene. Ja. Und jetzt bin ich gerade dabei, eine Art Mentoring aufzubauen für Künstler und Freiberufler. Ja. Und helfe denen dadurch quasi mehr Fokus zu kriegen. Das ist so die Idee, die ich jetzt weiter ausarbeite und die jetzt auch gut anläuft.
Mega, mega. Hört sich sehr, sehr gut an. Und das war's auch schon mit dem kurzen Interview. Danke für deine Story, dass du sie geshared hast. Und jetzt bis zum nächsten Mal.